Perimeter of shapes. The perimeter is the distance or length around the outside of a shape. Or you could say around the edge of a shape. And of course we're in 2 dimensions. So when we're finding the perimeter of a shape, all we have to do is find the lengths of the individual edges and add them up. Our lengths do all need to be in the same units of measurement. And a weird little trick for when you're finding the perimeter of a shape is actually to trace with your finger around the outside of the shape, because the perimeter is only the outside. Some of the harder questions often have parts of the shape inside, and studies have shown that if you very carefully trace with your finger around the outside of the shape, you're actually more likely to get the perimeter questions right. So it's a useful little strategy. Your steps when you're finding the perimeter is you'd find all the outside edge lengths. And then add them up. Now there's often a few different ways that we can do this. So I'm actually going to do 2 pieces of working for this one. We've got 5 meters. The little single line means that side's the same, so 5 and 5, 10 and 10. So I could do the perimeter. I'd say P equals 5 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10 equals 30. That's all I need, so it's perimeter. And then units, I'm measuring in meters, and it's just distance, so it's just meters. So it's as if I'd got a piece of string and wrapped it all the way around the edge there and straightened it out. It's 30 meters. Or it's quite okay to do the working for this one, saying, actually I can see that I've got 2 lots of 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. So you can multiply, or I could have done 2 times 5 plus 2 times 10. So there were 3 different ways I could show the working for this one question. Any of those is fine. Here is a type of question where we first have to really focus on that first step of finding all the outside edges. So here's a 2-stripe one which says I know this one's 4 centimeters. Now the trick here is to remember that this line, because it's in line, parallel to that line over here that I know, and straight down here, in line with it again, is this line here. I know that these 2 that I've highlighted in red there and there have to add up to the same as this length, which is 6. Because this is 4, this is going to be 6. Take away the 4, which leaves me with 2 centimeters. So often we can work out the length if it's not there by looking at a distance or a length opposite it. Now these 2 here I've put in because they're a little bit tricky. I actually can't find out what these 2 are. But if I use the rule of following across to this one that they're parallel to, I know that this line and this line together must add up to 4. So it's 4 centimeters in total for those 2. I don't actually know if it's 1 and 3 or 2 and 2 or something else, but I do know between them it has to be 4. And since all I want to know is the distance around the outside, that's enough to get that. So it's a good idea as you do your run around the edge to check, do I have all the lengths? I don't know this one, and I don't know that, but I know together they're 4. And so then perimeter is going to be, now again there's 2 ways of doing this. You can just start at one edge and just work your way around and add it all up. I've got 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 in total plus 2. That's 10 and comes to 20 centimetres. Or if you'd prefer, now you obviously don't have to do both, it's up to you which one you'd prefer. You can say that the perimeter is, well, I've got 3 lots of 4 plus a 6 and a 2. And so that's 12 plus 6 is 18, 19, 20. So there's often a couple of different ways of working. As long as you show your perimeter, all the sides, and your total with units, you're fine. Let's add the units in our steps. One problem-solving question. Here they've said to find the value of x, and they've given you the perimeter. So when these types of problems come along, we're still going to write the perimeter equals and all the sides that we've got. So the perimeter equals, I've got 2 lots of x. I could write x plus x, or I could write 2x plus 5. So we're still starting out by writing perimeter equals and all the sides added up. But now we can substitute in the perimeter, which I know is 19. 19 equals 2 lots of x plus 5. Now it's an equation, a 2-step equation, and we can solve that by doing a reverse order of operations. I had x, I multiplied by 2, I added 5, I got 19. Reverse that, take away 5 from both sides. I'm left with 2x here, 19 minus 5 is 14. I had x and I multiplied by 2 and I got 14. To reverse that, we divide by 2. X is 14 divided by 2, 7. And so I'd say, therefore, x equals 7 centimetres. And you could check that if you want. 7 plus 5 is 19. Now this one's optional because sometimes we do need to be able to convert millimetres to centimetres, because anytime I'm doing a perimeter question, every side in my shape has to be in the same units. And if they've given it to me in different units, I'd have to convert something. Remember, the easiest way to do a conversion is to look at the 2 units and write the rate. How many small ones to the big one? 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. So remember the conversion factor and write it as a rate. Write in the one that we know. Oops, my writing's getting really dodgy there. Write the one we know. So I know 18 millimetres. And this is what I want in how many centimetres. So you remember, I need to work out what did I multiply 10 by to get 18. Now that's, if you can't tell, remember you divide back to check. On 18 divided by 10, oh, it's times 1.8. And so this will be times 1.8. And 1 times 1.8 is 1.8 centimetres. So if you have forgotten how to do the units conversion, there's our little reminder.